Hi, I'm Nina Samuels, and apparently you have nothing better to do with your time, so you are listening to the Holy Shoot podcast.
And we're off. Cool. Would help if I had the script up properly.
What a way to open the show.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, keep this in, Jason. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 5th edition of the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge. For both our previous and new listeners, we have upgraded and changed the format completely, and instead of a weekly roundup, we thought we'd become a weekly debate show. We will also be doing interviews courtesy of our co-host Jason on a regular basis too. So, what is the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge, I hear you ask? The Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge is a new wrestling quiz show where the arguments, not your overall opinion, wins. Each week, our guests will go head-to-head over 5 rounds and debate topics that are either relevant to right now or will be themed. After that, we will have a 3-count round. The 3-count round is our speed round, and that's where the two competitors are forced to pick between one of two options, and we'll have 30 seconds to say why their option is the best, and then a minute between them to fight amongst themselves. Again, it's not what they choose wins, but their arguments. Simple. Got it. The winner will be whoever has the most points at the end. In the event of a tie after 8 rounds, we will go to a tiebreaker. Right. The following contest is scheduled for 1-4. And it is, shut up, a singles match. Introducing first. From Sunderland, Tyne Weir, he has a record of 0-1. He is the big man, Mike Remington.
I'm back and I'm better than ever.
Calm down, Bischoff. And introducing his opponent, making his Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge debut, from the Garden of England known as Kent, he is David, the Naked Chairman.
Yeah! I'm doing great. Great to be here, guys. Can't wait. Fantastic.
For those who don't know, Jason cannot be in attendance today purely because he is currently undergoing a paternity test to see if he is the father of Maria Canales' baby. So, with that being said, we brought in his cohort, David, aka Dave, aka the Naked Chairman. He's usually naked. He's not tonight. Very disappointed.
I am from the waist down, though. You know, just let's be clear about this.
Okay. Well, I'm disappointed to see your face.
Oh, that's his face.
What face? I was about to say it.
Wow. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Carol.
I was gonna plug Watch Wrestling London for you, but you could do that yourself.
Watch Wrestling London. Where to watch great replays on a product basis in London. Just guys, come down, watch it. It's a fantastic place, fantastic people, few beers, chanting. It's just so good to watch. You know, replays of WWE on your time, not their time in the US, but your time, and don't compromise your day job. So sign up for WWL, come on, join the team, and we have loads of events all on Meetup, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You know, join ASAP.
Indeed, you should all join, and you know, you get to meet some fantastic people and Jason. So. Let's get on with the show. This week, our questions will be centered around the Clash of Champions pay-per-view that happened this past Sunday. So, first question. What was the best match of the night? Dave, it's your debut. You get to go first.
Oh, what an honour. Well, obviously Drew Gulak on the pre-show. That is a joke, by the way, but I do like Drew Gulak, so I just wanted to drop that in there. You can deliver anything with a PowerPoint presentation. That guy should be on the main show every time. For me, for me it was Sasha and the man. It was in and out of the ring. The referee made it as well. I thought the referee did a fantastic job. And then the best bit for me, literally had me in tears of laughter, was when the referee had gone down and he was down in the ring, and he went back into the ring, and for some reason he just kind of rolled out halfway through scene, and it just had everything for me. I know it didn't, finish itself. It's set up for the next pay-per-view. Just a great match. I just love the stupidity of it. Fun, entertaining is what WWE is all about. And talking about WWE as well, being in that kind of environment where everyone's around, fans are talking about it and having a few beers, it was just great.
That's brilliant. Mike, what was your favourite match?
I thought we were going to have a problem because I would have said Sasha and Becky as well. However, Dave's reasons are totally wrong, and therefore I'll have no problem ripping him to shreds with this one.
Ooh, so you're going for the same match, no one wants to switch. Okay, let's hear your reasons first, Mike.
Okay, so just to counter Dave straight off, the fact he's mentioning the referee, the fact of every match is we should not be noticing the referee. The referee is the only negative about that match. We shouldn't be looking at him instead of watching the fight up the aisle, up the stairs, round the back. We're all thinking, when's that referee going to get up? And we should never be doing that. The match itself, definitely the best match of the night. And the reason I say that is I was invested in it. I was feeling that they hated each other. They actually didn't just look like they were having a match that would end and they go over. It looked like they hated each other. They wanted to hurt each other, and it just, like Dave said, it went in and out the ring. It went around the back. It was different. It was something that we don't see on every event, and just made me wanting more. I was disappointed when they ended it.
Fair enough. I'm gonna allow both guys the option here to change their answer. If not, then you have to fight based on the points that you made. Does either one of you want to change your answer?
No.
Okay, well, fight each other off the points that you made. Stop now.
How can you, laughing at the referee, make it the best match of the night? That is not the point of what is meant to be one of the hottest angles in women's wrestling.
You know what? You know what I like about wrestling? It's not what you see, it's what you're not meant to see. Right? It's the stuff that just shows the fun of the entertainment side of the business, right? And it was a great match, but it's just the little things for me that just kind of really stick out. I know what you're saying, yeah, the referee, I shouldn't be focusing on that, but it just made me crease up in an environment where everyone was in stitches of laughter. But you are right, it was a great match, and the in and out of just, fighting outside the ring, the mustard incident was fantastic. Always mustard, right? And the match was mustard. So it just, fantastic.
Yeah, mustard does make everything better, and the submission moves, the use of the railing to do the disarmer through, the fact that at the end we're a little bit who won, have they just stopped the match, is there a DQ? It just left me wanting more, and this is me now looking forward to the women's match on the next pay-per-view, which I think shows how good this match is.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
Glad you agree with me. Thank you.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to call this, because this is really, really short. Mike wins a point. And here's why Mike wins a point. Dave, you just went, I agree with you. You're not supposed to see the referee take his time, so yeah, it's an unfortunate start for you, David. Unfortunate start, but Mike takes the lead 1-0. I also have to agree with you, gentlemen. That was fantastic stuff that both women put on. But from fantastic stuff to fucking awful stuff. Mike, what is the worst match of the night?
The worst match of the night was also the first match of the night on the main card, Braun and Rollins versus Rude and Ziggler.
Ooh, why?
So, this was an historic event. This was the first time, as far as I'm aware, that the tag team champions were in a match and they're then going on later to have a match against each other. This was something big that they'd really hopped on, and instead we got an incredibly quick match that had absolutely nothing to it. It really, at the point it ended, I was expecting it to really get started and start using the storylines. It didn't do anything really for the match later. There was no argument. Braun just looked a bit disappointed and walked out. Seth looked a bit disappointed and walked out. There was nothing. And I mean, if you look back to WrestleMania 10, when the famous Bret Hart had to do 2 matches in one night, you ended up getting one of the best matches in history as the opening match. So it's not like they really need to conserve that much energy and stuff to make it that fast. It was just, it was a throwaway match.
Fair enough, David.
For me, it was Charlotte Bailey. Too short, far too short. You could argue that the turnbuckle incident is a way of kind of crystallizing Bailey as a heel. But for me, it was still far too short. Bailey's a kind of lukewarm heel. We've seen that on the recent events, and it just did nothing for a match, really. They should have gone on longer. It just didn't really go to anything. For me, it pitted out. And yeah, again, it was just far too short. Very disappointing, I thought. And I'm not a big fan of Bailey personally, but I know she can do much better than that. And we know that Charlotte's superb, right? So that for me was a big letdown and a big disappointment.
Yeah, I'm going to give Dave the point. No, I'm joking. I really like the term crystallise, and Bailey didn't hug me, therefore she's a heel, proving my point all the time. Anyway, but back on track, gentlemen. Fight each other, please.
I think one of the big measures in worst matches, you compare what you hope to get out of it to what you actually got. And we've seen Bailey and Charlotte wrestle many times. They've had incredible matches, but I went into this knowing this was going to be an absolute nothing. I really didn't think there was going to be any sort of story or title change. This is just a slow heel turn for Bailey. Obviously, it's done the obvious heel turn, attacking them with chairs, but they now need to slowly tweak the character, and this was one with, again, a quick sneak win and running away. That's all it needed to achieve, and that's all it did achieve. It was exactly what I expected.
For me, the tag team championships being lost and moving, I think was important. Right? The match was okay, but I was just pleased that they lost it. I don't buy them as a team. I didn't really buy it really much as an angle. Where does Braun kind of go? Just the whole thing for me was just kind of a waste of time. But still, Charlotte and Bailey, that match had more potential, much more depth that they could have explored and gone into, and they could have, put in a really good effort and put in a really good display. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the historic tag team championship here being defended by 2 teams that 6 weeks ago didn't really exist. I think the whole thing about the match was that they were the champions and facing each other. That was the big story, and the fact that nothing got done with it was really a total wasted opportunity. There wasn't a turn, there wasn't a sneak, fight afterwards, shoving, it was your fault, no, it was your fault type thing. The whole match just let me down. The very fact that Rude and Ziggler, and they're not a tag team, and they're the tag team champions in what should be a loaded division, just leaves me with not much hope for the future.
I don't know. I quite like them, to be honest. They got something like that kind of. WWE doesn't know what to do with them, so stick the titles on them. And for me, I like that approach. I like they're both very good wrestlers, and I think they're much better tag team. I see what you're saying about no turn. Yeah, it could have been great to have a turn and kind of eat that out and make that better. But for me, the by far the most disappointing was unfortunately the ladies.
Yeah. So you think even though you've got the main event in the ring at the same time so early, and literally nothing happens regarding that main event, isn't a total letdown?
Yeah, but we knew it was gonna be. You thought something was gonna happen. I never thought something was gonna happen.
Really?
No.
Okay. I totally disagree. I think everyone knew something would happen, even if it was just an argument leading to a little bit more storyline into what was already a weak main event.
Yeah.
This was their chance to make that main event mean something and them hate or something be on the line, and instead we got, well, nothing.
I think Braun Strowman did a promo backstage afterwards saying it was Seth Rollins' fault.
He did, but I think we're just talking about the match here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just saying, like, in terms of heat. That's just... I'm just putting it out there as a fact. Do any of you want to make one final point?
That match sucked.
Yep. Dave, do you have any final words?
Bailey's match sucks. Most of Bailey's match sucks. Anyway, carry on. Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh. Right. Have you ever watched Bailey versus Sasha on NXT?
No, I don't think I have.
You're a Sasha Banks fan. You'd enjoy that match. Anyway, I am going to give the point to Mike again, purely because I felt that he offered more reasons. And again, Dave, you got into the trap of agreeing with him, saying, yeah, that Raw Tag Title match wasn't very good. You know? You should really attack Bailey even more. Just, like, be more aggressive. And unfortunately, you acquiesced more with Mike's point than, defending your own. For the record, I thought Kofi versus Orton was the most boring match of the night. So I had, I disagree with you both. Speaking of Braun Strowman, what's next for Braun Strowman following his 2 title match defeats at Clash of Champions? Dave, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think is next for Braun Strowman?
Retirement? No. Help the Fiend defeat Seth. I think could be a slightly interesting angle, given the kind of. I know it's obviously a new kind of character, but still the links are there if you think about it. So I think that is a possibility that could happen, and given the hatred for one another, leading into that match, something could happen. Hell in a Cell or whatever, to ensure that the Fiend wins, the championship, and Braun gets involved somehow. What's immediately on the horizon, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But in terms of kind of next step and how that gets involved, there might be that he gets involved in supporting the Fiend in some way. It kind of helps boost the character.
Okay, so you're going to go supporting the Fiend. Mike, what about you?
I think that Braun needs to go away, and he needs to stay away, and he needs to stay away a bit more until we stop thinking, where is Braun? A bit like we did with Bray Wyatt. We kind of forgot about him. We need to forget him, and then he comes back as the monster, and this time as the monster. And he needs to be a heel, because you cannot have a monster babyface who was so strong and so fast and get any sympathy from us. He has to be a heel. So he has to go away and come back eventually and absolutely wreak havoc, which I know will get him cheered, but he needs to do it in an extreme heelish way. Like occasionally the Big Show would come back after a while and just attack everyone, but he needs to do it to a much greater effect. He needs to maybe appear on NXT and absolutely decimate some good guys there. He can appear anywhere. He just needs to be a wrecking machine heel who wants to hurt people.
Keep him away from my lovely NXT. Joking aside, we have Wyatt family reunion of sorts and big bad monster return. Fight.
Yeah, I think the Wyatt family is gone. They've changed Bray Wyatt's character. They've made him the Fiend. They need to go away from history. There's no point starting to go back to that. And I think the big thing is we've lost all real. We keep saying, when is Braun going to win the championship? When is he going to win the championship? Now he looks weaker than ever, and the only thing to solve that is a lot of time. He needs to go away. That's my main comment for this. We need to forget him, and then he needs to come back and we forget what happened 2 nights ago.
How long do you think he should go for?
I think after the Rumble, because that would be an obvious time to return, so would be expecting it, and I don't want them to be expecting it. It could be maybe Raw after WrestleMania to give that feeling that we want, but if it was up to me, it would be a random episode of SmackDown where his music hits and we all pop and he's back and he does something that we hate.
How long do you think in total?
Sorry, I didn't realise this was a question and answer show, but 8 months. 8 months.
8
Yeah.
months. Okay, so Braun Strowman, top of the game, right? One of the best, if not the best, strongest wrestler out there. You're going to remove him from the card for 8 months.
Braun Strowman, the best wrestler out there. That should be a T-shirt. Yes.
Remove him from the card for 8 months.
Yes, they have enough depth in there, and they aren't just trying to succeed for the next 8 months. They want to succeed for the next 80 years. It's a long-term plan. They need to start having more long-term plans instead of week-by-week booking.
8 months for one of your top stars to be out is, for me, a very long time. I mean, even for commercial, it doesn't make any commercial sense for WWE. I see what you're saying about the big pop after, but 8 months. I mean, that is going to be, he's going to be sorely missed, right?
He's going to be fresh. They can change the look. They can do anything they want, but they just need to. We're sick of Braun Strowman losing. He's a monster. He's apparently the monster among men, and yet the men constantly beat him.
But then a Wyatt family reconnection, a rekindling of sorts, could actually make him powerful, could make him strong again, And not only that, obviously everyone's talking about the Fiend, so a kind of pseudo family reunion could make Strowman the strength again that he once was by almost disconnecting him from his current perspective that everyone has of his recent performances.
I think that would be a big step backwards, going back to where they were 3-4 years ago. I think Bray's managed to totally reinvent himself. Let's keep them totally separate, and let's give us a monster like they've been saying for years. I think Braun's best work was against Roman, the I'm not finished with you, where he was a monster, he was a heel, but we loved watching it, and that was some of the best Roman Reigns matches I've ever seen. I think if he went back to something like that, but I think the important thing is he needs to go away.
8 months out. 8 months. No.
8 months,
no.
yes.
No.
Babies can be made in that amount of time.
Yep, that is true.
Speaking of families.
Yeah, indeed. Yep.
Yeah, do any of you want to make one final point?
I'm just trying to figure out why Dave is walking in circles. I'm feeling a bit dizzy here.
Yeah, we see each other on Skype, ladies and gentlemen, and all I see is a lampshade. It's amazing. So I'm going to give the point to the lampshade. So Dave, you've pulled one back. I think the reason why I kind of feel that, Mike, your answer was weak, but the points you made were even weaker in my opinion. And the reason why is, you didn't really have a clear, definitive timeline of what you want. You just say, he just should come back as a monster, but you never really elaborated on what they can really do apart from a pop-up in a random episode of SmackDown. I think, Dave made better counterpoints to that, and that's why Dave wins the point. So, Dave 1, Mike 2. Mike, you get to go up next. This is a bit of a creative task. Come up with a tag team name for Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode's tag team.
Okay, so I've thought a bit about these people, and I think what they need to do is realize publicly on air that this is a bit of a strange mix. They've been kind of just placed together at random, and suddenly they're the tag team champions. I think they need to look back at their careers and maybe poke a little bit of fun at themselves, that what they've been through, and therefore the tag team name I'm coming up with is Spirit Money.
Delicious. I was thinking of the wrong spirits, but never mind. Dave, what about you? What's your answer?
Okay, so can I float a couple out there?
No, you got to pick one. But
I've got one. But I just got to have one.
Yeah, only one. It says tag team name in the question.
Okay, right, fair enough. Zach and Rack. Right, there's a whole new character. They come out with the Saved by the Bell music. Okay, and every time they're use the bell as a weapon, and they always get saved by the bell. So that was that was my thinking. It was totally ridiculous, but hey, that's what WWE should be. It should be a little bit more ridiculous sometimes.
So, not Spirit Money and Jesus Christ and Zack and Rack with the complete gimmick change as well to save by the bell.
I guess Screech is their manager or something as well. I mean, it'd be perfect.
God, I really want to hear some of the names now.
Dustin Diamond is a wrestling fan, and right. Please fight.
This is not anything like what I'd planned to fight. I think mine has some logic to it. Wow. Yeah, I think at least mine. You can look at the name Spirit Money and understand why. Obviously, the Spirit Squad, beer money, put it together, Spirit Money, it still makes sense. It doesn't require a total gimmick change. They are who they are, and I don't think we should be changing their gimmicks too much, but we should just be changing their outlook. And I think it gives them a lot of access to who they used to be. They can be, they've gone through the developmental, they've gone through who they are, they've had successes and failures. Dolph's been world champion, Rude's been NXT champion, but they now found themselves as tag team champions, and they can use a lot of that in their promos, and then the storylines of being Spirit Money. If they start drinking Jack Daniels while listening to Saved by the Bell music, that will link the two together. But your idea is absinthe related, I believe. I think you're drinking too much and smoking too much while thinking of these questions. That makes absolutely no sense. I really can't see WWE doing a Saved by the Bell parody tag team champions, despite some of the things Vince has done in his past.
Interesting. Okay, so I always think kind of the most ridiculous ideas are the best, even if they are a bit crackpot related. I mean, just imagine the nostalgia as Zack and Rack come down to Saved by the Bell. Screech is there as their manager. Okay, and imagine that every single time they gimmick with the bell to finish every single match, it would just be perfection. We would love it. All the slightly older generation of fans would love it. It's like it's a kind of even more ridiculous thought than the 24/7 rule, right? It's ridiculous, but it will get publicity, it will get names, and it will get people watching. It's mental, it's crazy, it's a little bit off the wall, agreed. But you know what? That's what WWE is, because the more crazy it is, the more people will watch it, and it'll be better for ratings, etc., etc.
I'm just trying to picture Michael Cole shouting down at my phone, Zack and the Rack with the win. I don't know. I like nostalgia as much as the next person, but it's a very specific bit of nostalgia. Maybe if they were doing a bit of copying old shows and changing their name every 2 weeks to something different would work, but that's a very specific characterization to go with. And after the initial giggle, for those of us who actually get it, and I'm not too sure many of the fans would really get this. Really, I can't believe I'm having this argument.
Well, it could be like a little. They could ease it in. It doesn't have to be direct, They could ease into the character, and it doesn't have to be so direct. It could be a little bit more kind of. I was about to say submissive. That's probably the wrong word.
It is with Saved by the Bell. This sort of language was never used on that program.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point is that the crazier the better, of any kind of storylines at WWE, anything that's actually going to get more ratings, anything that's actually going to be a little bit more attention grabbing.
But this isn't a new tag team coming along to give us some giggles. These are the WWE Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
and you want to parody them into Saved by the Bell. Are you Chen in disguise?
Mate, I tell you, if I was on creative, I tell everyone to watch it. Everyone. Not just the wrestling fans, everyone.
Okay, I think I'll stick with my logical name that actually means something, and you can understand why they're called it if you're a wrestling fan, whereas yours needs a lot of Googling, I think.
Do you think Jason's just going to edit me completely out of this podcast?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the Mike Talk Show. They're going to wonder what I'm laughing at.
I am going to call time on what has been the greatest argument in this show's history. How the fuck do I judge this one? The weird thing is, Dave made good, strong arguments against your questions, Mike. And, you know, Mike put up a good argument, but Dave has countered everything. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm sorry, Mike, but you just said yours is logical, and that's not enough. So I actually have to give the point to Dave.
I think in my defence, there was no argument against that. I've got a stitch now.
That was the most... I mean, it's the worst answer. But it worked.
I was literally laughing to myself. I was laughing. The thing was, right, is I was laughing to myself so much when I wrote it down. I was crying to myself. This is so stupid. I have to say this. Anyway,
what was the other thing you're going to suggest?
Okay, well, it's kind of a similar era. Zig and Zag. Zig and
Isn't that his finishing move in the years gone by?
Yeah, of course. Okay, even better, yeah. Bring out Zig and Zag and then get him some involved in his. Anyway, I'll stop talking, otherwise I'll just carry on. Chode and Zode, as in Chode, you know, Chode knows, you know, Chode as in stubby cock. You know, I thought we could.
Excuse me?
Chode.
Wow. This is.
You keep that camera pointing upwards, yeah?
That's not.
Wow. We bring Dave on for one show and he's making Saved by the Bell jokes and penis jokes. That's just why you are the naked chairman. Jesus Christ. I don't even... Right, last question. Dave, who should beat Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship?
Okay, controversial. James Ellsworth.
Oh my God. Go ahead. James Ellsworth should beat Bayley. No, please tell me your reasons.
Okay, he's flirted with the title before, as we know. Okay, I'm not sure if all the allegations were true against him, but assuming they're not, and he could come back to WWE, ignore all that information. You know, for some of the reasons, in fact, Mike, you were saying earlier, you know, absence makes the heart grow stronger in some degree. You know, James Ellsworth's probably been out for some time, right? And he comes back to a big pop, beats her 1-2-3, controversial finish, of course, and James Ellsworth is the winner.
Okay, Mike.
I've gone for a different answer.
Surprisingly.
So I've gone with the logic that WWE and AEW are now at war. It is official. The Wednesday Night Wars are a thing. It is WWE versus AEW. And while this is a great time to live and to watch it, the old thing of wrestling companies at war is signing each other's talent and, you know, signing free talent and trying to get one up on them. So the person I think that should beat Bayley for the title is Smiley Kylie Ray.
Oh.
So the storyline pretty much writes itself. She was let go, you know, she asked for a release from AEW, she got it, we don't know why. She's got to assume there was something happening or something in the background that she didn't like. But it coincides with Bayley doing her heel turn, And they could so easily bring it in that the reason she gave up wrestling was that she'd realised she was just another Bayley. She was happy, she was smiley, she would hug people, everything was great and exciting, and she didn't. The wrestling world didn't need another Bayley. She was already there, but now she's not there. She's turned against what Kylie Riley is. Smiley Kylie, sorry. She comes in. Smiley Kylie is a fantastic wrestler. They could have an amazing match, but it is pretty much, it would be Bayley versus what Bayley used to be and what made everybody love her.
Okay, so this argument is based on two people that are not hired in WWE. Okay, cool. Fine.
Yeah, James Ellsworth should not be the person to beat Bayley. Bayley is the women's champion. I mean, this isn't low-down fun things we're dealing with. They need to make these titles prestigious again. We need to have long-term champions that when they lose it, when there's a title change, it means something. It elevates somebody. James Ellsworth coming in and beating Bayley 1, 2, 3 is a joke. It's a few minutes of giggling. It's not a future storyline. At least mine has a great match in it. I mean, you said he comes in and beats her 1, 2, 3. Is there a match? Is there a back and forth? Does he hit his finishing maneuver, which I'm sure you can't name? I mean, what? How does this match look?
Pretty ridiculous, but that's exactly how it should be. Can I just ask a question? So, sorry,
Yeah.
and who's the lady again? Because I haven't heard of her. What was her name?
Smiley Kylie Ray. She was in part of a flagship match at the first AEW pay-per-view, Double or Nothing, part of the Women's Triple Threat. She's kind of like a very Bayley character, very happy, excited, just, pleased to be there and stuff, but can really go when the bell rings.
Would the average WWE watcher know who she is?
I think now they would. I think the average wrestling fan would, and I think WWE are very good at putting packages together to explain it. And there's enough independent footage of her to be able to use, showing who she is with her smiley little gimmick and putting her hands under her chin. And, they have split screen with Bayley as she used to be on one and Kylie on the other side doing very, very, very similar things, and then how it is now. And this whole story, I idolized you, I wanted to be you, then I realized I was you. I wasn't needed because you were there, and you've now let me down.
But you're guaranteed that everyone will know James Ellsworth.
Well, yeah.
Agree with my point?
We guarantee everyone knows Hulk Hogan as well, but I don't think he should come and beat Bayley.
I didn't think of that. That's quite a good idea. I change it to Hulk Hogan.
No, I think back in the late 90s when the girls were there for one reason and they gave the title to Harvey Whippleman, it was a joke and it was something they did to say, look, a man's won the title dressed as a woman. But I think these days, in the days of the women's revolution, giving the title to James Ellsworth would be a big backstep.
I think your point is well made, actually, in terms of, I don't want to, and obviously for the listeners here, it's quite important that I'm not belittling the Women's Championship in any way by giving it to James Ellsworth. What I'm looking for really is going down that role of kind of a little bit of stupidity, and as a kind of temporary, that's next, but actually it moves on pretty quickly. So, but I'm certainly not belittling the championship at all. The ladies' championship and the whole division is better than the men's, has been for a long time, in my opinion. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I think the 24/7 title exists for that sort of story and that sort of play with, what wrestling really is. But I'm glad you say you don't want to belittle what they have done, because they've done a hell of a lot of work to get to this stage. And I think
certainly don't want people thinking that I'm belittling it by saying James Ellsworth. I am certainly not. I just like a cheap pop, a good laugh, and a bit of comedy moments on all titles. In fact, not just the Women's Championship.
So you think James Ellsworth should be the next Universal Champion too, just to give us a smile?
Why not? Why not?
Okay. No.
Okay. This one's pretty clear to me. I think, Yeah, I think Mike made way better points in this one. Just to a clarification as well, the James Ellsworth allegations, I don't think those were actually really confirmed to be resolved, but he is working on the independent scene. I even saw him at WrestleCon in April in New York, which is a sight. And Kylie Ray, I think she might be retired after getting her release from AEW in September. So there's that as well. But yeah, Mike, I think you made the better points overall. I think it's you actually had a better story than just a cheap pop. I think, there is that concern as well with Bullet in the women's division, the Hulk Hogan comparison. It is a way stronger argument. So, Mike, you win the point, and you lead 3-2 going into the break. Join us after this quick little advertisement for our 3-count round. Can Dave win all 3 and take the victory on his debut, or will Mike finally get his first victory? Find out after the break.
Hey you, if you like the podcast, then remember to like the Holy Shoot Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Holy Shoot Pod. Do it now!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge, and you join us at our 3-count round. Mike is leading 3 points to 2. So basically, our 3-count round, just a little quick explainer, is our speed round. There's 3 questions, and each opponent will be given an either or. The first person to shout out that answer will take the first answer, and then the other person will have to take the other answer. They'll have 30 seconds to debate that point, and then they'll have a minute to fight against each other, and then I will judge them based on their arguments, essentially. So, simple, got it. Dave, you need 3 to win or 2 to take it to a tiebreaker. Mike, you need 1 to take it to a tiebreaker or 2 to win. So, first question. Yes or no? Should Sasha Banks be the next Raw Women's Champion?
Yes.
Dave, you have to take no. Mike, go.
I think that, first of all, she's deserved it, which is important in wrestling. She's deserved where she's at, and she's put the hard work in. I think after the match last night, which we both agreed was the best match, it has to happen again, and it would be the right time for her to take the title. I think she's excellent in the ring, and she's got that storyline with Becky where it is personal. They do seem to hate each other, which, is great to see in a wrestling match these days.
Cool. Dave?
No, it's too predictable. It's typical archaic WWE doing the same old, bringing someone back, making them look good temporarily, and basically we know this will happen. Sasha will win it, and it's kind of playing into the storyline that we know will happen, right? It's too predictable. She shouldn't be the champion. We should really look at seeing what other options there are to explore.
Cool. You have 1 minute to fight each other. Go.
I think, first of all, this format has existed for over 50 years because it works and it plays to everything we like. But I didn't say that Sasha needed to win it straight away. She could lose, and then Becky could go on to have another feud and win that, and then eventually Sasha is the one. So it doesn't have to be as predictable as you say, but Sasha is the one I think deserves to take that title off her.
But, there is so much more that they could do. With Sasha to kind of build up her character. She's come back as the kind of same character with blue hair, slightly a little bit more aggressive. That's what she's basically done. That's what WWE have done. They've done a little break, the same old. Yeah, just slap her the title in a couple of months' time. Let's just see a feud that starts and fizzles out pretty quickly. It's archaic. It's typical WWE. We know the writing's on the wall, and in fact, it makes actually
Time. Both of you have actually made really good points on this one. This is tough. Maybe it's the freshness of the argument. I know it's only been 1 minute, but short-term memory. But Dave, I'm going to give you the point. So it's 3-3. Question number 2 of the 3-count round. Yes or no? Should the Fiend win the Universal title?
No.
Yes.
Oh, well, both of you had difference of opinions. Mike, you said your answer first. You get to go first.
Okay, I first of all think it's definitely too soon. He doesn't need the title. He's all about character at the minute. He could easily be a character who just cares about hurting people and causing devastation and destruction and carnage. He doesn't need the championship to do anything what he's doing. I think we need to go back to the early 90s when WCW would feed monsters to Sting to make him stronger. That's what the Fiend should be to Seth. Seth needs to have an absolute war with him, but come out on top just to continue to strengthen him for the eventual loss.
Time. Dave.
Absolutely should. Fiend is the best thing in WWE at the moment. It is perfect. It is different. It is just taking the whole WWE by storm. They need to ride this wave, right? They need to push it, promote it while it's hot. Everyone agrees. Everyone wants the Fiend to be the champion, and also it takes it off Seth as well, which I think is overdue, in my opinion. I just think
time. Fight each other, please.
Okay, yes, he is the best thing right now. Everybody loves him right now, and he doesn't have the title right now. He doesn't need the title.
100% does need a title. That will elevate him. That will elevate the pitch of WWE. It will bring credibility to the title and will ensure that the main man is given a title at the right time and taken off Seth when it's becoming a little bit boring that Seth's got it, in my opinion.
I don't think it's boring at all. I think he's just getting started. I think he needs some high-profile wins over short-term opponents who can then go on to do their own thing.
Same old. Fiend, ride that crest of a wave. It'll be beautiful when he's wearing that belt. He's come up with even more gimmicks in the next pay-per-view. Ride it, make him the man, make him the star that he deserves, because that's what all the universe wants.
Well, I think all the universe doesn't want, because I'm arguing against it, so you're flawed there.
You're talking on behalf of the WWE universe.
Right, I'm going to call time. This one is actually very clear to me. I think more points were made. I'm going to give the point to Dave. Dave, you're leading 4 points to 3. Yeah, don't get too excited. You still could lose.
Yeah. To be fair,
Mike, you need a point to win. Point to tie it. Dave, you need this last one to win, overcoming a 3-2 deficit. Who should challenge for the Raw Tag Team titles? Viking Raiders or the OC?
Viking Raiders.
Dave, you get the OC. Mike, you get to go first.
Okay, I think the way they left NXT as undefeated has them as strong as they can possibly be. I think that for big men, they can do some amazing things and can put on some amazing matches and really excite the universe. I think if the OC were to win it, it would be too much like the undisputed storyline going on in NXT, with AJ Styles also having a belt. I think they don't need to go that too quickly. I think the Viking Raiders are just something fresh and can put on different and new matches.
Time.
The Viking Raiders are the worst gimmick I think I have seen in WWE history. It is so obvious, so ridiculous. They wouldn't even have it in the golden era. I mean, I've never seen anything more ridiculous than them two. Not disputing their wrestling abilities. Good wrestlers, fantastic wrestlers. It's just the gimmick. I just can't get over how in your face it is, how obvious it is, and just how pathetic it is. And it actually... We're not in a golden era anymore. We're not in a super golden era. We're in
time. Fight each other, please.
Zack and Rack and tag team champions, James Ellsworth as women's champions, and the gimmick is too bad for your personal world. I think they should challenge. Yes, their gimmick might not be brilliant, but they can overcome that by challenging for the title, winning it, and hopefully doing enough to convince Vince McMahon to give them a better gimmick, a better name, something else. But the matches they can do, that's why we watch it. And they can do some brilliant matches. We haven't even scratched the surface of what they can actually do because they haven't been allowed.
But the gimmick is just so in your face. I mean, it's a difference. What I was talking about before was bringing back a bit of nostalgia and fun. Mm-hmm. What they've done is they've just created what I just see as a really obvious gimmick with no class or anything. The OC are cool, and they've got a reputation, and they're just a fantastic trio, right? And, it looks good to have them all strapped with some kind of silverware, all three, right? So I think they need the tag team titles to make the three. as a threesome of champions almost.
They can have that eventually, but it is too much like exactly what's going on at NXT. Would have dual storylines.
Time. This one's pretty clear to me. I feel that Dave didn't really say why the OC until very late into the argument. You were too busy attacking the Viking Raiders in your opening statement. So I'm going to give the point to Mike, which leaves it at 4-4. And yet again, we go to another tiebreaker in the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge. So, this past week, we saw Harper return at Clash of Champions and reunite him with his tag team partner, Rowan. But which gimmick is better for Harper and Rowan? The Bludgeon Brothers or the Wyatt family? Go.
Wyatt family.
Okay, Mike has gone Wyatt family. Dave, you have to answer with the Bludgeon Brothers. Go, Mike.
Okay, so the Wyatt family, while they were around, were some of the hottest things in wrestling. So good, so different, and if they'd really pushed it all the way, which they still could if they put them back together as some sort of family like that, has so many opportunities. The Bludgeon Brothers must be on the same level as Viking Raiders in Dave's strange gimmick level, with the plastic hammers coming out. It just that really never caught on for me. Whereas I enjoyed watching the Wyatt family. I looked forward to them coming out. I liked their entrance. I liked their match.
The Bludgeon Brothers were cool. I mean, the entrance music was cool. The whole enigma around them was cool. And very little was really explained. They just come out with their big hammers and they had a cool kind of character with the really cool music. They were just ball busters. And they were just there to hurt and succeed, right? The Wyatt family had the whole Wyatt family associated with them that we kind of discussed before, but the Bludgeon Brothers were just in there to kick ass, which I liked.
Time, fight.
What is your favourite Bludgeon Brothers match?
Well, that's a good point.
Thank you.
I've got. Yeah, but I've got short-term memory loss.
You've got Google there. Go on, Google.
I won't be that quick.
All right, okay.
But were they
my favourite Wyatt family match is against the Shield. That was absolutely incredible. They were so good in that match. That match still sticks with me today.
But were the Bludgeon Brothers given enough time to actually have a good performance?
I can't remember. I'm waiting for you to name that match.
Well, the gimmick was cool in terms they used to come out and they used to kick ass. The problem was they didn't have chance to actually flourish.
Yeah, I think my guys did flourish and gave us some memorable moments, and the fact they keep putting them back together after the Wyatt family showed how good the Wyatt family was at merging as a team.
Time. Yeah, Mike, you landed a killer blow pretty early in that one. My favourite Bludgeon Brothers match is when they dropped the SmackDown Tag Team titles to the New Day.
Yeah.
There you go. And I could have helped you out there, Dave, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to. So, Mike, you are today's winner. 5 points to 4. How does it feel getting your first win under the belt?
Oh, I was so nervous there. Seriously, if I'd gone 0-2, I think I might have reconsidered my career as a debater without the mask.
The mask debate joke again. Dave, how did it feel on your debut? You didn't even know the format of this new show, so how does it feel coming in right at the deep end? And coming close to winning?
Well, first of all, guys, I was obviously honoured to be invited, and enjoyed to give it a shot, So obviously got slightly different, bizarre angles at certain times, but that's just me. I like to think things a bit more stupidly. That's just the way I roll.
I really face Chen at some point soon. You versus Chen would be gold. And I'll have Jason as special guest enforcer, and he'll die inside. It's brilliant.
Can I just say, like I said after last week's show, and I want to say this on the air now, that I did lose to Jason on my debut, and I think I've improved now. I've beaten Dave, but Sam, I know you're listening. I really, really don't think that your arguments can stack up against mine. So if you want to tell Brod that you can come and face me, just bring it, because even though you might be on Skype, you can't see me.
Shit. I've challenged Jason. I'm gonna set up a match between Dave and Chen, and Mike is laying the smack talk to Sam. I think we need a championship at some point as well.
Well, yeah.
Definitely a championship. We need some kind of stipulation, right? If you lose,
you
need to do something at the next WWE event, like something crazy, right? You have to get up there and
turn up.
Like turn up, right? Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, some of us were hungover yesterday. Anyway, yeah, we'll create a 48-11 championship or European TV title. I don't know. So that wraps it up for another week of the Holy Shoot Wrestling Challenge. If you like our show, then remember to subscribe, like us, give us 5-star review, pretty please. Also, you can follow us on social media, like us on Facebook, follow us at Holy Shoot Pod on Twitter and at Holy Shoot Wrestling on Instagram. And that's the bottom line because this pod said so.
Boom. Rack and sack.
This podcast is affiliated with the WWL Meetup Group. WWL, or Watch Wrestling London, get together with many fans to watch pay-per-view replays on Monday nights and attend live events across London, be it WWE, Progress, Rev Pro, Eve, and many more. It's a great way to watch wrestling with friendly people and all are welcome to join. You can find out more at watchwrestling.london or just Google Watch Wrestling London and you'll find the meetup page.